How are we all doing? So this is a thank you, and it's to my dear dad. Thanks, Dad. He got me an air compressor, and yeah, it's tiny compared to what I have been using, but the reasons I'm doing this is to say thank you to him for one, and the other thing is to do with the air pressures. Now, I'm going to give a shout out to Model Works because Said works there, and the people that come in, there might be a few of you that watch my videos now. Hello to you all. It was, it's nice to meet you, and it's great to have a chat to you all. Now, the one thing I've been writing out on a piece of paper, now I'm going to put it on video. So, if you own an air compressor that looks like that, right? This particular one doesn't have a tank. If you own a tank air compressor, then they're a different ball game from one that doesn't, because all this one is it's just the pressure is up the pipe. So basically what it is you need to airbrush 20 psi is what you need. That's when you airbrush. If you're doing any kind of fine work, so here's your airbrush here, so you've got a little nib there, so if you've got any fine work, you can take that. Right, I won't bother doing it because it's stuck on, but you can take this nib off, right? And you can either get a cup that looks like this, so it's got like gaps in it, which allows the air to flow outwards, so you can get down and do a fine, or you can take off altogether and you can do a fine. If you're going to do that kind of work, you need to up the air compressor to roughly around 25-30 psi, but have a go on a bit of card or a bit of paper beforehand, just to see how thin a line you can get it, because obviously you've got to adjust it with your pressure down for air and you pull back for paint, and as you can hear, that thing just kicked off. So yeah, so oh god, look, I made it even worse. Anyway, so we'll go start again because I'm confusing myself here now. So right, so with the air compressor I've now got, which is tankless, you need to put your air compressor pressure up to 40 psi. That's what I've got on that, and that will equate to a 20 psi coming out the end. If you've got a tank air compressor, then put your tank pressure reading at 20 psi. You use a mix of paint, so your mix of paint to leveling thinners, which I've got in this bowl, but it's all in the bottles over the back, or thinner. So with paint, it's a 70-30 mix. With varnish, it's an 80-20 mix. This is what I use. It's not the sod's law, it's just what I use. And I find that I get, nice, even, soft paint and a good finish just with that on 20 psi. And I don't know whether Tony watches my videos, but Tony, this is your Harrier at the moment, and I'm about to recolour it. So yeah, so that's that. It also works for vehicles as well. This is a Land Rover I've done. So yeah, the paint again, doesn't matter if it's brass etch or whether it's plastic. The plastic, it's all the same. You don't have to order any air pressures for any different kinds of material. When you're doing large models, so like this F-35, then it's the same. It's just the same all round. 20 psi, and you will cover this. What you need to do, if anything, is you might need to up your size of your needle. If you don't, what's this? This is 0.3. And I paint this with 0.3, but others, like I've got a Sparmax airbrush, and I think that's a 0.5. covers a vaster area. And then I've got my Grex airbrush up there, which I think is, that might be a 3, but it's a trigger. It's like a gun looking thing. So standalone compressors, no tank, 40 psi. Compressors with a tank, 20 psi. That's painting. When you do your varnish, if you're doing fine work, not varnishing, but if you're doing fine work, like if you're one of these ones that's really clever and you can do all the letters and stuff with an airbrush, or like you're painting crash helmets and stuff like that, anything that's fine work, or, you know, fine, like for us, forget all that fine lettering and stuff, but for us it's weathering. So when you want to do like streaks on a model, then the best thing to use then is to up the pressure on the tank. So instead of it being 20 psi, if you go to 30 psi, and if it doesn't work there, but you thin the paint down even more. So with kind of weathering, you're looking at, so I would say 90% thinners and 10% whatever it is, and then just, you know, colour it in as you go. It will get darker the more layers you put on, but the layers are so fine and so thin, but you'll need to have the high pressure to get it to come out of the needle to do the finer lines, if that makes sense. So again, that, and with that one, I don't, at the moment I don't know, but I'm having a guess it'll probably be about 60 psi. I haven't tried that yet because I've only had the thing out since this morning. So I've just been tinkering with it. And I just want to say a big thanks to Boss Mark at Model Works, because he was aiming to help us out with a compressor. I didn't realise my dad was going to buy us one. He knew about it. He knew that my work was stacking up for a Revel and I'm getting behind with things, as well as Tony's Harrier. And bless him, he had one sent here via Amazon for delivery yesterday. So when I got home last night from being out with Mark at New Haven, then I had a little present. And it was a pleasant surprise. And I got up early this morning and turned it on and set it all up. And I thought, yeah, this is brilliant. So yeah, I'm really, really happy. Thanks, Dad. Thanks very much, mate. My dad doesn't watch these videos. I'm sure he doesn't, because he doesn't know how to work a bloody computer. If he did, Dad, thanks very much. Love you lots. Love me, Dad. You should all love your parents. Yeah, so there we go. And as far as I can see, yeah, I've sprayed little bits of black surface. That was my first colour with it, black. So I've done, I did the seat, the back of the seat, because the back of the seat got ruined when, I can't remember what happened to it now. Oh, it fell on the carpet, that's it, and it had a furry back, so I had to wash it all off with Mr. Remover. Brilliant stuff. He got rid of that. Back to normal. So of course, new air compressor. Let's have a look. And it works. It works lovely. It's a smashing little air compressor, and it'll get me by for now. I do know that someone posted up on my Facebook page this morning when I put it up that they've got one. It gets a 9.6 review. So if any of you haven't got one and you would like one, it's the what is it? The FD-18A 125 watt air compressor from, and I bet it's on the side you're looking at, and it's a Fengda FD-18A dash. It looks like an Airbus. I've got the wrong glasses on here. Air compressor. So that is it. And if all you out there want to, you know, have one of these, it was not a dear air compressor by any means of the work. Like I say, I've been looking them up, and I was talking to my dad about them. And I was in two minds whether to just get going, and of course he bought it for me. So well chuffed. But it gets a 9.6 review. It looks like a great air compressor. It does what it says on the can, and it was 73.99, 74 quid, and delivered the next day. That's what he told me. So there you go, 74 quid, and you get a 9.6 out of 10 review, 5-star air compressor that's silent running, and it's on now. And since, like, you know, oh, look, I'll give her. So this is it. That's how quiet it is. And you know, being autistic with ADHD, a noisy one of them. Oh dear, irritating, very irritating. That's why it's hard to find these air compressors. I mean, the one I did find, the Hobby Knox one, I mean, it didn't even last 2 years, and it got louder, and then all of a sudden, it just, the whole plug socket side of it just shot out a big bang and a spark. That was it. It hasn't worked again since. The fuse was all right, but I don't know. I don't know whether it's the plugs that have burnt and charred, or, you know, I mean, I've had a look at it, can't see any melted wires, but I don't know, it might have done something to the motor. Who knows? But either way, I've got a new one now to get me up and running again, because the desk was looking rather naff with all this piles of, you know, kits and that. It was just being used as a stop-off point rather than you know, making anything point. But yeah, so you've got your air compressor pressures, your paint ratios now, and your varnish ratios. Oh, and just one other thing I'll add to this it's not really part of it, but I've got it to hand. So this is Halford's gloss white paint. Now, it used to be called appliance white. They've changed it to this gloss white paint. I've used it, and it comes out superb. So it's still the same as appliance white. I mean, look at that for a shine. Look at that. You know, unbelievable. Amazing shine. So it does work. Now, I said to one of my customers, he was using rattle cans, but he wasn't getting a great effect. But, you know, I said to him, don't drop the rattle can. Something like an airliner looking like this, and you want to put a white coat on it, Halford's rattle can, make sure you give it a good shake, right? So when you're faffing around in the morning, just walk around like you've got a maraca in your hand or a nervous twitch, and rattle it up for a couple of minutes. That's all it needs. But what you do need, more importantly, is, and they're starting to disappear now, is out there, when you get up in the morning, early morning, I mean, I still had ice out there this morning. There was a massive frost. But I live in the country, so I'm quite lucky in that respect that I still get, you know, freezing cold mornings. When it's like that, you've got a bit of a nip in the air, and you think, oh, yeah, not damp, a nip. So it's dry, but it's cold. Best time to spray this onto a model, and you'll get a better effect, because this was done a couple of days ago, and like I say, I'm well chuffed with the finish on it. You know, it's come out. What I did last time was I put some masking tape on it to mask up the actual livery, and the paint, I don't know. This is a new can, but the old can, maybe I didn't shake it long enough. I don't know, which is why I always say give it a good 2-minute shake. It says a minute on there, but give it a 2-3 minute good shake, and then, like I say, it went on. But I mean, this, yeah, it's crispy dry, so it's not. If anything was a bit untoward on it, it would have a dull sound like that, and that way you'd know there was either a run, which there isn't any runs. Always spray, so when you're spraying, you know, spray, you know, at least an arm's distance away to get it, you know, and don't try and get the whole coat on all at once, because that's what a lot of people do. I did exactly the same mistake, tried to get the whole all on one, mate. I made a right mess. Not this one, but years ago when I was doing it, and you just make a right, and it looks a bloody awful sight. So nice, quick. So if you put a black primer on, which I always do with white, it gives the white depth, and you can see where you're spraying. So like I noticed that here, just here, there's a couple of black, like shadowy marks. So that's an easy fix. All I do is I just spray it down and leave it, and that's it. When the decals go on and all the rest of it and the livery goes on, it doesn't matter that there might be a little bit of a flat spot somewhere, because at the end of the day, the whole thing gets coated in Mr. Colour Gloss varnish. You can't go wrong there. And that's why I use a rattle can for that. I do use varnish in an airbrush, because obviously there's finer details, like when you've got a thing like this seat, you need to put stickers on, or decals on, for the maker, the manufacturer of the seat, and then sometimes there's some other writing that goes on it, and then you got the seatbelt sometimes comes in a decal form. So what you do there is you use the varnish out through the airbrush, because it's too small. Otherwise you try and spray something that small with a rattle can, oh my god, it's a bloody mess. So yeah, so when you're using said rattle cans, whether it be this, whether it be a glass varnish, it doesn't matter what it is, said rattle can full stop, me only, I go out on a cold morning where there's a little bit of a nip to the air, and then I spray it arm's length to start off with, and then just bring it in a little bit closer, so you're probably about 14 inches away, and then just finish it off. But in between coats, leave it for like, a minute, just to let the stuff settle and whatever, but you don't want to put like tons and tons of coats on. So so that's said rattle can. Right, apart from that, hang on, I've got to have a sip of this. I'm getting dry in the chops. I'm boring everyone too much. Right, said that, that's it for this one. So really, it was a big thanks to my dad for getting me this air compressor. Bless him. And thanks to all of you lot out there for joining my channel and watching me, and for all the others that subscribe to me. I can't remember how many we got now. I think in this club alone there's about 2.5, nearly 2.5, coming up for nearly 2,500 subbies. So there's 2,500 people that watch me out there, and to you lot, you're the best. And thanks very much for subbing. On that note, I suppose I'm going to call it a day, finish my tea, and I better get back to work, ain't I? Because I've got a couple of deliveries this morning. One of them's quite interesting. I can't wait to open that one up. And then the other one, what have I got in there? I think I've got 2 aircraft and 1 car. And it was only because the car, so I was at work the other weekend at the shop in New Haven, and I was just putting something on the shelf, and I caught a glimpse of something that looked like a very sinister looking eye reflection pulling up along with this rumbling sound. And I thought, I've got to stop what I'm doing, and I've got to go and have a look and see what that is. Well, when I went outside, my God, there was this black Dodge Challenger Hellcat sat out there. Never seen one before in my life. And my word, it was something else. Now, this guy I don't think he watches my YouTube videos at all, but he was a customer. He came in with his mate, and I'll tell you what, they were the 2 nicest blokes I've ever met. He said to me, go out there and help yourself to it. I said, can I take some photos? He lifted the bonnet. I got some beautiful photos. And I said to him, I goes, have you ever seen a model of this car? And he said, no. He said, I've looked round. And he said some company did do one, which I recognised the name. Anyway, I went a delve in while he was in the shop, found one, and he said, oh yeah, he goes, that's not quite it, but yeah. Anyway, since then, I found 2 kits of the Challenger Hellcat, and there is a conversion which comes with new bumpers and bonnet, but it's 3D printed. And when I went on a guy's site, he hasn't done them for ages, and he does 1 car now, and he works on an eBay account. as much as I would like to get the actual thing for that, because it's the bonnet, because where the bonnet is, they've got 2 vents, and then they've got 3 vents at the front, and this Challenger's got 2 vents at the back, so the bonnet needs completely changing, and the front bumper does as well. But and so does the rear one, because the rear backlight is one long light on what I'm getting, but on his one it was 2 separate lights and Challenger written in the middle. And I thought to myself, yeah, but oh mate, what supercharger V8. he let it rip up the road away from the coast. Like, whoa. And I said, me and my boy was standing outside. I said, listen to that. That is something else. Anyway, so I've got that coming. 2 aircraft. So I'll do a show and tell on them as to what I'm getting. And then, like I say, there's this other one, the special box, which is an aeroplane. But I won't say any more than that, and we'll see what happens. But as for the Audi, yeah, she can now be coming along again. I've been in touch with Michael, who does the decals, because the instrument decals where the centre console is were facing this way, and the dashboard faces that way. And then he sent us another set of decals, but instead of it being that way, they were straight. So I sent him the photo and the photo of the thing and said to him, they need to be angled the other way. So he's redone it, and thanks, Michael. Hopefully he'll get them in the post to us, and then I can crack on with that. But in the meantime, I've actually started to carbon fibre, but the carbon fibre looks a bit odd, so I don't know, I'm in 2 minds whether to carry on with it or not. So yeah, because you can't really see it until you put a like a clear coat of, like I put yellow over it. But I think yellow was the wrong colour, so yeah. Anyway, bit of thinking to do on that one. Right, that's 22 minutes of my bullshit. So on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you very much for liking and describing. Liking and describing? Liking and subscribing. Anyway, thanks very much for liking and subscribing to my channel. Just give us a thumbs up. It's all free. Every little helps, as Tesco say. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.